Good day, everyone. It's so good to be here. I've already been introduced, so I hope that we have a great time together. All right, so I'm going to be taking the topic, the Reformed Teacher. Of course, that is the title of the event, but I'm going to be looking at the Reformed Teacher as an educational asset. The reformed teacher as an educational asset. So, who is a reformed teacher? We're going to be looking at that. What are the qualities of a reformed teacher? We'll be looking at that. How is the reformed teacher an educational asset? We're also going to be looking at that. And how do I become a reformed teacher, which is the aim of this program, this teacher summit. How do I become a reformed teacher? So this is what we're going to be looking at. All right, the next slide, please. So as a way of introduction, we want to start by saying that as a teacher, it is not okay to remain in one spot. Now, I have been teaching for 28 years now. The way I teach now, it's not the way I taught many years ago, in fact, when I started. Even 10 years back, so many things have changed because, as we all know, life evolves, life happens, life changes. A great man of God said that the only constant thing in life is change. The only constant thing in life is change. If you agree with me on that, put yes in the comment section. That change is the only constant thing in life. If you agree with me, please put it in the comment section, say yes. So, life is change. If you agree with me on that, put yes in the comment section. That change is the only constant thing in life. If you agree with me, please put it in the comment section, say yes. So, we are at a stage where it has become imperative in our educational system where the drivers of our education system need to change. So sorry about that. We need to step up our game as the drivers of change in our society, in our educational system. Sorry. We have come to that place where we have no choice but to become a reformed teacher. We cannot afford to continue to be satisfied with where we are. Now, when it comes to teaching, sometimes we go online, we go to YouTube, we go to some of all these social media platforms, and we look at what our counterparts are doing out there. And we tend to copy what they do. But we need to now up our game so that other people will also be looking at us to learn from us. Knowledge is not static. Knowledge evolves. Knowledge changes. So, my dear teachers, We are the drivers of the system, and if we do not make a move to become reformed, become a better version of ourselves, then we are doing a disservice to the children that have been placed under us and to our society. Because a society cannot grow be more than the capacity of its educators. It cannot grow beyond that. So we must know, as a part of, as a form of laying foundation, we must know that we are at the driver's seat when it comes to education. We are the driver's seat. So there is need for us to make changes. Now, we want to look at who is a reformed teacher. Who is a reformed teacher? A reformed teacher is one who used to teach in a traditional way but decided to change his approach to a more effective method. I take that again. A reformed teacher is one who used to teach in a traditional way but decided to change his approach to a more effective method. How many of you agree with me that there is an effective, modern and effective way of teaching? If you agree, put it in the comment section. Who is a reformed teacher? A reform or the reformed teacher is one who is excited to embrace change. Who is a reformed teacher? A reformed teacher is one who has explored new teaching techniques, modern tools, and innovative ideas to make their teaching more engaging and effective. This is who the reformed teacher is. I want to ask you, my dear fellow teachers, do you fall into this category of the reformed teacher? So if you fall into that category, put it, yes, I am the reformed teacher. If you do not fall into the category of the reformed teacher, put it in the comment section, I am making effort to be the reformed teacher. I am making effort to become the reformed teacher. Okay, put it. I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting. Yes, thank you for those of you that agreed with me. All right. Now, I want us to take these affirmations that I have here. Now, as a parent coach, I have seen the power of affirmation. So, as we resume, oh, thank you for that. As we resume this term, I want this to be one of your affirmations. Now, take that with me, write it in the comment section. I am a reformed teacher. I use modern tools and ideas. I strive to make teaching engaging and effective. Beautiful. Thank you for being honest with me. I am making effort to become a reformed teacher. Thank you for being honest. All right. Now, please put this affirmation in the chat box. I am a reformed teacher. I use modern tools and ideas. I strive to make teaching engaging and effective. Yes, thank you for that. Now, the facilitator before me talked about differentiated learning. And one of the things she said is She talked about flexibility. That is one of the characteristics of a reformed teacher. It's flexible, it's not static, it's not rigid. It's not rigid because things change, like we have noted. You know, the only constant thing in life is change. So, are you putting down that affirmation? Are you putting down the affirmation? Thank you for that. Yes, we strive to make teaching engaging. All right. I want us to reflect on these questions that I have here because these are some of the things that will drive you into striving to make your teaching engaging and effective. Answer this question. You don't need to answer it. You don't need to write it out, but you can answer it to yourself. Give yourself an honest review. Give yourself an honest review. Number one, has your teaching pattern changed in the last 10 years or has it been the same? Please reflect on that. But if you still want to write your answer in the chat box, please feel free to do that. Has your teaching pattern changed in the last 10 years? I have been teaching now for 28 years. Imagine that I am using the same method from when I started to now. Do you think the teaching will be interesting? No, it will not. It will not. Children will not even want to come to my class. So if you have been teaching the same way, using the same method, using the same pattern, then this class is for you. This class is for you. I want us to reflect on this question again. What has changed for you? What has changed for you? In your teaching method, in your research method, in the your engaging of learners and participation, what has changed for you? If you feel like writing what has changed for you, please feel free to do that in the comment section as we move on. So we're going to look at what are the qualities of the reformed teacher. What are the qualities of the reformed teacher? Now, number one, the reformed teacher is a reflective thinker. He is a reflective thinker. When we say he is a reflective thinker, what are we talking about? He teaches and he seeks for feedback. He is not just assuming that, oh, I have taught, oh, all the children are doing well, because we have the high level learners. Our previous facilitator talked about that. We have one or two high level learners who are answering our question, and we assume, teachers will assume a lot. But going forward, as a reformed teacher, I know you are not going to be using this method again. He teaches and seeks for feedback. He doesn't just assume that his learners are following. All right, thank you. It said not teaching to the whole class is one major change I deliberately embrace. Wow, that is good. Beautiful. And when you do that, you will have a good number of your children, participating and doing well. Thank you very much. Bravo. The reformed teacher is a reflective thinker. Now, third term has finished. We are about to begin a new term and a new session. One of the things the reformed teacher will do is to assess the previous term, is to reflect on the previous term. What did I do? What are some of the lapses that I encountered that made my children not to be 100%? So you want to reflect on that, and you want to say, okay, based on this findings, I'm going to do this and that, even in this new term, even in this new term. That is what the reform teacher will do. Another thing, another quality or characteristics or features of the reform teacher is that he recognizes the uniqueness of his learners and the need for flexibility to meet the individual needs. You see that, the previous lesson and this one is entering each other. The reform teacher recognizes that his learners, you have a class of 20, 25, 30 children. No, you don't expect all of them to be the same. You don't expect all of them to learn the same way. No. So the reform teacher recognizes this uniqueness, and it creates assessments that is flexible, that aims at bringing all the class learners to achieve the objective of the topic and the class. Another unique quality of the reform teacher is that he creates opportunity for students' active participation. You see, when we say that teaching and learning has evolved, way back then, or in time past, you see the teacher gives the a problem to the learners or an exercise, and expects there is no intentionality in attending to those who are at the middle and those who are at the low level. So, but it has become imperative, it has become necessary for us as teachers today to embrace flexibility, so that as much as possible we're able to meet the individual needs of the children that are in our class. Another unique feature of the reform teacher is that he creates opportunity for students active participation. He makes sure that every learner is actively involved as much as possible. The reform teacher is a lifelong learner who constantly is developing himself. Imagine, like I say, I'm always using myself as an example, teaching for 28 years, and I am using the same pattern of lesson notes or lesson plan. I am using the same method of teaching. I am using the same tone in my class. It will be so boring, even to me as a class teacher. It will be so boring. So he is a lifelong learner who is constantly developing himself. Do you know, from this three in the this last 3 days, I have learned something which I have penned down that I'm going to introduce as we begin this class, as we begin this new term. So the reform teacher is a lifelong learner. Now, I know some of us may struggle with this, because many of us, unfortunately, we came into the teaching, field accidentally. By that, I mean we did not actually desire to be a teacher. We came by accident. But like what I always say, Bible says whatever our hands find to do, we should do it with all our heart, with all our might, and with all our soul. So if you have found yourself in the teaching field, then you don't have any other alternative than to train yourself to become a lifelong learner who is constantly developing himself. Because there is a saying that you cannot give what you don't have. Mm-mm. You can't give what you don't have. So if you don't make your research, if you don't improve yourself, what will you give? What will you give? You will continue to give out what you have been giving out. You will be regurgitating, and at a point you say, I beg, I don't want to teach again. I have come to that point in my life as a teacher where I tell myself that there is nothing else I can do apart from teaching because I enjoy it. And one of the things that has made me to enjoy teaching is my constant learning, my constantly developing myself. There are modern trends, there are modern teaching techniques that when applied, you get maximum results. Yes, thank you. Give yourself to learning. That is who a lifelong learner is. The Reformed teacher seeks creative ways to integrate new teaching techniques, new teaching methods, instructional techniques, and technology to his lesson. Many of us don't even know how to use technology. We don't know how to incorporate it into our learning, into our teaching and learning. For many that are in my generation, even to operate the phone is a problem. We only use it, maximum or highest level of our usage of technology. In this case, now our mobile device is WhatsApp. Even with that WhatsApp, we can also leverage on that for our children and even for our parents. The Reformed teacher creates an inclusive and culturally responsive classroom. Now, most of our tests, I thank God for changes are already taking place in most of our textbooks today. Before now, most of the names we see, most of the places, names of people, names of places, and activity we see in our textbooks were, not they were foreign to us. They were foreign to us. But I thank God that we are beginning to wake up to the realities and to the impact of our own cultural beliefs, and we're beginning to include them in our education system. He creates an inclusive and cultural. No one is separated, no one is segregated, especially the low level learners. In my school, one of the ways we assess teachers is we look at the low level learners and how they were they able to to change their level. That is what we look at. So the Reformed teacher does not focus only on the high level learners and say they all know it. Is that line familiar? He knows it. He doesn't want to do it. No. When the Reformed teacher sees that there is a delay in the response of a child, he wants to look at it. Why is this child delayed? Obviously, the child does not know it or has forgotten. So, these are some of the qualities of the reformed teacher. There are many more, but we'll just look at this as we move forward, as we move further, as because our time is running fast. Now, we want to look at how is the reformed teacher an educational asset. How is the reformed teacher an educational asset? Number one, he enhanced student engagement. Now, the reform teacher knows the importance of student engagement. Therefore, he or she uses method that is interactive and participatory, which makes students interested and happy to learn. So when children are happy and interested to learn, then the reform teacher has achieved being an educational asset. So when you are an educational asset, it means you can be depended on. When you are an educational asset, it means that because of you, lives are going to be impacted. As an educational asset, it means that when we are looking for people to represent the educational sector, you are that person that can be called upon. Why? Because you have been able to enhance students' engagement, and this has made students to be happy and interested to learn. Number two, focuses on individual students' needs. This cannot be overemphasized. You have lots of children in your classes. You have 20 children, you have 25 children, you have 30 children. But as an educational asset, you have been able to identify that all 30 children have different individual needs, and you focus on them by designing personalized learning experiences and employing differentiated instruction. Do we remember the differentiated instructions that learning we talked about previously? Because A does not learn the way B learns. And we have some group of persons in A, some group in B, some group in C. So this educational asset of a teacher is able to create and design personalized learning. This is one area I will advocate for teachers to improve themselves on: differentiated learning and how to implement it in our various classes. I actually struggled with this because I didn't know how to do that before now, until I went through the University of Buckingham program, which we were taught on this differentiated learning. One of the questions that we ask as teachers is, they are going to write the same exam. So how do I do that? That has been taken care of, so I will not go into that. So differentiated learning is the way to go to achieve, meeting of the individual needs in your class. How is the reform teacher an educational asset? He encourages students to think for themselves and explore different perspectives. He encourages children to think for themselves. Now, the first day, the facilitator gave us or taught about learning about literacy. Now, one of the things she said was that when you're teaching a comprehension passage, for example, you put the passage down and ask the children leading questions. Look at the topic. What do you think the topic is talking about? There is no right and wrong answer, please. Okay, look at this paragraph. What do you think it's talking about? By doing that, you are encouraging the learners to think for themselves. You make a statement or a sentence, and a child is asking you, for example, those of us that have children at home, your child is asking you, Mommy, what is the meaning of this? You ask the child back, what do you think it means? You are activating critical thinking in that child. His learners. He's doing the same thing. He encourages curiosity. He encourages self-reflection. And this make learners to fall in love with learning. If you're going to be teaching rocks, for example, give the children access. Make a link available for your learners. Oh yeah, using this link, go and learn about rocks and come and give a summary of what you have learned. Do you know that knowledge that the learner will gain for himself will last longer for him? It will last longer for him. All right. As an educational asset, he creates positive and inclusive classroom environments where students feel safe, valued, and respected. He creates a positive environment. If you do not create a positive environment in your class, students will not feel safe. And it is because of this singular reason why some children cry, they don't want to come to your class. Why? They do not feel safe. They do not feel valued. They do not feel respected. Yes, you may have a valid reason. Oh, you want the children to learn. You want the children to know what you are doing. Yes, it's valid. But don't you think that there are other better ways that can be used so that the children will feel safe in your class? Remember, the parents brought that child to you because they feel their children, they are safe with you. He influences educational policies. The reform teacher influences educational policies by using his creativity and innovative practice. How does the reform teacher create, influences educational policies? He does this by using his creativity and innovative practice. That is how he does it. To influence, if for example you are teaching in your class and there is something unique you did, and maybe it was showcased on a platform, don't you think that somebody can see it and say, that teacher, I beg, maybe when they are looking for a commissioner of education or somebody to give educational advice, they will look for you. Why? Because of your creativity and because of your innovativeness. Now, there are other ways that you can influence educational policies. One, by participating in making policies. Yes, we have not gotten to that level yet, but we are learning about it because we want us as teachers to position ourselves so that when there is a need for educational policies to be made that will move the nation forward, they will look for you. They will look for you. How can we influence educational policies? By sharing best practices with colleagues. Thank you for that. By sharing best practices with colleagues and with networking with other persons. When we do that, you are, becoming an educational asset. Don't You can leverage on that. See this, I go back to this social media platforms. We use it a lot. Have we ever stopped to think that the people that did it there, they are as much teachers as we are? So if we can learn one or two things from them, why don't we put out our content there so that others can equally learn from us? Yes, we can do that. So share best practices. If you know you have learned anything good that is going, is going to help other teachers like you, put it in a course, put it in a video, put it whatever, and share with your colleagues, share with other teachers, share, network with people of like mind. How can we influence as teachers educational policies? We can do that through professional networks and educational associations. I recently, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I went for an educational conference in Lagos. It was organized by one of the associations I'm in. And in that association, in that conference, we met other people. There was networking, and it was a learning experience for every participant. And this is another way we are here now learning. I didn't know the host of this program many years ago. We just knew less than few months ago. But we're already networking, we're already sharing ideas. That is what we should be doing, and not thinking that, oh, somebody wants to come and learn, come and spy me, somebody wants to come and see what I am doing. No, we have a common goal, dear teachers. We have a common goal, and that is impacting our generation, impacting the educational system, and turning it around. I want you to put in the chat box, we have a common goal as teachers. Please put it in the chat box. We have a common goal as teachers. We have a common goal as teachers. Please put it in the chat box for me. I am waiting for you. Put it in the chat box. We have a common goal as teachers. All right. Now we go to our last slide. How do I become a reformed teacher? How do I become a reformed teacher? Please, can you hear me? Hope I am not alone in this room. Can you hear me? We have a common goal as teachers. Now, if we have this understanding that we have a common goal as teachers, it will help us to network. It will help us to share best practices. It will help us to, to do things together. Why? Because if you are doing what you are doing in your school, I am doing what I am doing in my school, they are doing what they are doing in their school. We are raising the next generation of leaders. Thank you very much. We are raising the next generation of leaders. And won't you be proud when you see your learner, occupying one position or the other and making an impact? That is one of our benefits as teachers. You are proud to say, that was my learner. That was my student. All right, let's go. How do I become a reformed teacher? A reformed teacher is made intentionally. A reformed teacher is not just born. A reformed teacher is not just born, he is made with intentionality. The journey to reformation Is a journey and it's not a destination. Imagine I just told you now that I learned just even from this conference already. It's not a destination, it's a journey. So you cannot say that you have arrived. And the journey to becoming a reformed teacher is achievable if you put your mind to it. If you put your mind to it. All right. So, what are some of the keys to unlocking the doors to becoming a reformed teacher, which we all desire to be? There is a way. The Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go. As teachers, there is a way we should go. There is a way we should go. Yes, a reformed teacher is made and it is done intentionally. Yes, you got that right. There is a way we should go as teachers if we want to achieve the result that we desire to achieve. Please, as we go on, we are almost rounding up. This is the last slide. You can put your questions in the chat box. If you have any, or if you have any experiences, please share with us. Number one, embrace a growth mindset. Embrace a growth mindset. Please don't be satisfied with where you are. Oh, if I see better job, if I see a better job, I'm going to leave the teaching field. No problem. While you are here as a teacher, please develop yourself. Have a growth mindset. Please, you should not start this term. You should not start this session the way you started last one. Let there be something different. Let there be something unique in the service you are going to offer. Not for your employer, but for yourself. Bible says, I know many of us here are Bible believers. It says, whatever your hands find to do, your hands have found the teaching job. Your hands have found the teaching profession. So therefore, grow in it. Have a growth mindset. Number two, stay up to date with current educational research, trends, and best practices. Now, one of the things I learned in the conference I went for in Lagos was inclusivity. There are many children, especially those of us that have physically challenged children in our class. How do you handle them? Many of us sideline them. So one of the things I learned is how I can include these children into the mainstream learning. So, my dear fellow teachers, stay up to date with current educational researches, trends, and best practices. Now, one of the trending methods of teaching is developing in children critical thinking. How many of us are doing that? How many of us even know about that? You cannot be that reformed teacher when you are where you are. No, you cannot. Number three, reflect on your teaching practices. We are looking at how you can become a reformed teacher. Reflect on your teaching practices. What were some of the things you did that your employer complained about? What are you doing about it? Or you forgot about it with the holiday. And when school resumes, you will start all over again. And your employer will start all over again, chasing you up and down. No, that is not the attitude of a reformed teacher. Reflect on your teaching practices. Pen down what you want to do that is going to change. Number four, engage in professional development to up your skills. You need to up your skills. You need to up your patience skills with your children. You need to up your a kindness skill with your children. You have to up your empathy skills with your children. You have to know that these children, they have feelings. They are humans just like us, and they have feelings. How do I become a a reform teacher? Number five, be willing to try new approaches. Be willing to try new approaches. There is no harm in trying, but take it one step at a time. One step at a time. Connect with other educators. And that is what we're doing here. Myself and most of the facilitators that are here, we are connecting because we will definitely learn from each other. We will definitely be of help to one another. Connect. Not connecting with the mind to steal, but connecting with the mind to develop, connecting with the mind to add, to be an addition. Because some persons have this, collect, collect, collect. No, as you collect, also give out. Because when you continue to collect, you get to a place where you will not have room to collect. You will not have room to collect. All right. Number seven, embrace technology. Embrace technology. Oh, I don't know how to use this. Oh, I cannot do this. Oh, I don't have money to do this. They are all excuses. One of the facilitators talked about excuses. Yes, they may be valid, but they are not tenable. Embrace technology. And that is what we are doing with this program we are doing here. I have been disturbing the host, teacher goodness, because I needed to learn how to use this part of what we're doing, what we're using today. So embrace technology, and I'm enjoying myself. Imagine if your child in your class is seeing you like this. They will look at you, they will pay attention. Even if they don't hear everything, they will hear one thing. They will hear one thing. So, my fellow teachers, embrace technology. And number eight, assess students' progress and adjust. Adjust. Assess your students. How are they progressing? What are the progress they are making? And in whatever area you need to, please make adjustments. And number nine, share insights, share successes, challenges with your colleagues and professional networks. Don't keep your problems to yourself. Don't die in silence. Your solution is just a phone call away. Your solution is just a chat away with your colleague who has a growth mindset, or not that colleague who want to even add to the problem that you already have. No. You can say, for example, I was teaching LCM, and I discovered that my children were not getting it. Please, how do you think I can make it effective for my children? Or what do you think I can do better to help my children learn better? That is what we should be sharing. Oh, I used this method and it worked like magic. Maybe you want to try it. Maybe you want to try it. That is what we should be doing as teachers, and not pulling down each other or jealousing each other. Or no, you cannot become a reformed teacher using this method. And with this, we have come to the end of this class on how on the reformed teacher as an educational asset. Hooray! So, I want to ask, do you have questions? Do you have questions? What is your takeaway? What are you taking away from this class? Yes, we have the class has come to an end. Please, if you have questions you want to ask, if you have something that spoke to you, you want to let us know in the chat box. Thank you, and over to you, Miss Goodness.